We need to talk about attractive men. See, my issue with attractive men is that they know they're attractive. That's the only issue I have with attractive men. I'm not mad at them for having nice jawline, nice physique, tall and pretty eyes. No, I'm just annoyed that they know that they're attractive, because once a man knows that he's attractive, you're dealing with a monster. And remember, not all monsters bite, not all monsters kill you. Some monsters just give you a little fright. And this is what I think with attractive men, right? Like sometimes that little fright is them making you feel like they are the prize. And you are the fan, the supporting act, the backup dancer. And I have many thoughts. I have many thoughts on attractive men as someone who has been with attractive men, whether they have been subs, whether they have been boyfriends. I got a lot of insight in this area. So let's get cracking on this one, because a lot of women have issues with men, and a lot of those issues are more heightened when those men are attractive. So I feel strongly about the idea of women who date attractive men being more attractive than those men. I just feel like that's the only way to do it, babe. I'm so sorry. Like, if you're dating a man who's attractive, make sure that you are still more attractive than him. I don't care what that looks like for you. Just make sure in it. Like, because now you're in competition. This is why I'm not a fan of dating attractive men, because even the idea that you benefit from being more attractive than him, that implies competition. That's why I don't date men for their looks anymore. I date men for how they treat me. And this doesn't mean either that I date men that I find unattractive. Attraction is a very interesting thing, because I'm the kind of person where my attraction for a man grows based on how he's treating me. But at the same time, what is interesting is that attractive men, they are just as normal as mediocre looking men, who are just as normal as unattractive men. Like, on a fundamental layer, they have the same skeleton, the same balls. They all like tits and bum, innit? Like, they're all men. So the problem with attractive men, especially attractive men who know that they're attractive, is that they will not let you hear the end of it in how they act. And there is a competitive element to dating within an attractive couple. I see it all the time. And visually, it looks nice. Like, when I see an attractive couple, my dirty mind is like, oh, I just want to watch. Whoa, who said that? That's crazy. Who said that? That's really inappropriate. What the fuck, man? That's crazy. But I mean it though. Like, when I see an attractive couple, I'm like, oh my God. This looks yummy. But the second thought that enters my mind is, I wonder who holds the power in this relationship. Who is the person with the upper hand here? Because in every relationship, someone has more of the power. And the thing about power is that it moves and it shifts in shape and direction. Like, sometimes one person seems to have more of the power and then it pulls in the other direction, depending on the dynamics within that relationship. But when I see an attractive man and woman couple, I'm like, why are my spidey senses telling me that despite both of these people that I'm looking at right now being attractive, the man holds more of the power? Because look, I'm not saying that it's impossible to meet a man who is attractive and is a fucking Labrador for you. It's not impossible. I have met submissive men who are very attractive. And sometimes I get shy. Like, sometimes when I'm interacting with a submissive man, like in person, and I'm obviously the one who is leading the interaction and deciding what I want him to do for me. I get shy because I'm like, oh my God, you are so fine. I need to concentrate. See, I'm human too. No, but real talk. When a sub is attractive, I get a little like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I'm liking the flavor of this one. Let's see how I can put this one to use without getting distracted. And it really does help me reset my perspective when I come across a submissive man who's attractive, because it's like, see? Don't mind that stupid, useless stereotype that they put out on purpose, telling women that if a man is attractive, well, he's not really going to treat you well because he's attractive and yada yada. No, there are attractive men who are submissive. Have you met them? Because I have. But also, the thing about attractive men and them being submissive as well, without spending too long on this topic of submissive men, is that men operate on a mental level in terms of their attraction to women. Like, a man can be very attractive and still be an absolute simp for feet. A man can be very attractive and still be a total weak beta for women who wear glasses. Like, it's little to do with how a man looks and more to do with how he sees himself and how he sees women. That's the point I'm making by bringing up submissive men, just to add layer to the conversation. But attractive men in the wild, like out in the non-kink world, when I come across a man who's attractive, I tend to be a bit more mean to him because I'm doing my part for the community. I am making sure that I'm reminding that man that he's a human being who still has to work for his place here. Because attractive men are so used to having their way with women that they rarely ever get reminders that they still have to work for it round here. And that's me doing my part for the ecosystem. When I meet men who are very obviously attractive, I like to humble them. I guess you'd call that reverse negging, because men do that to attractive women. They meet attractive women and they are of the belief that she's got it so easy with men. She's getting lots of attention. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give her less attention. I'm going to make her feel like she needs to work for my attention. I'm going to humble her. But there's a difference between women getting a lot of attention and men getting a lot of attention, because that attention is used differently. Sometimes a woman getting a lot of attention in a patriarchal society is what sustains her survival, is what spares her from being brutally killed by these men, you know? Like, men will literally kill you last if you're hot because they want to at least sleep with you before they kill you. That's the dark and real reality of this. Like, if men could have global permission to kill all of us, they will kill the unattractive ones first. They will spare the ones that they have sexual attraction to because they want to at least fuck you before they kill you. But with attractive men, I just feel like you need to be an advanced player for dating attractive men. And how do you navigate that? Well, you need to view all men as disposable, because in the grand scheme of things, all men are disposable. This is not me saying that you should disregard people's humanity and not invest in an equal kind friendship with human beings. What I'm saying is, men in the context of flirting and dating, they're disposable. Every single one of them. The ones you fancy, the ones you don't fancy, the ones who spend money on you, the ones who don't spend money on you, they're all disposable. Because why? They'll dispose of you with quickness. If you were to become facially disfigured in a freak accident, these men will dispose of you. If you were to stop being sexually available to them, these men will dispose of you. If you were to suddenly embrace a mindset similar to mine, these men will dispose of you because you're no longer useful to them. You see? So why it helps to view attractive men as just as disposable as unattractive men is because it allows you to focus on your criteria. It's literally like putting out a vacancy for a job. You've got your list of criteria, which are the requirements for this role. And you've been taking interviews with candidates all day. Some of them, they're meeting most of the list. Some of them, they're not really meeting the list. But you're still just sort of feeling it out and giving everyone who's applied, who has passed your initial wave of looking for applications, a chance. And then you come across this guy, your next interviewee, who he doesn't really tick the boxes. In fact, he ticks no boxes. He just applied out of audacity, but he's good looking. And out of everybody else on that list, who some of them were very qualified, you still chose this good looking man who's not qualified because you like how he looks. How long do you think that company is going to be able to last with attractive staff who are not fit for the role? It's going to go bust, isn't it? Yeah. Same thing applies to your dating life. Now, I hear you arguing that dating is not work. Well, have I got news for you, babe? Dating men is work. Actually, it might not be recognized as work, but loving men is a lot of work. Loving the people who kill you is a lot of work. You require a lot of brain activity to look past the glaring obvious reasons to not be around men in order to love them. That is work, girl. You be working. That's why people say marriage is hard. Marriage is so hard. It's so weird hearing married people, especially married women, talking about marriage and they're like, oh my God, marriage is so hard, but it's so worth it. Why is it so hard? Why is it hard, guys? Because I don't hear people saying dating is hard. Like in terms of, let's say, you're with your boyfriend and like you're genuinely enjoying being with him. I don't hear people in happy relationships saying, oh my God, my relationship is so hard, but we're happy. Because then you wouldn't be in that relationship. So how come marriage is so hard, but this is the love of your life? It's hard because he doesn't listen to you, that's why. It's hard because he likes to argue with you. The marriage is hard because he simply is not doing what you say. Yes, that's why I really believe in only marrying a man who is scared of you. And I don't mean scared of you as in jeepers creepers, she's hideous. No, I mean scared of you as in he knows that if he steps out of line, there'll be an actionable consequence that's going to cost him dearly. And he is scared to cross that fucking line. There's a man who's scared of me right now, yeah? And he put himself in this position. And at the point telling this story, the outcome is up in the air. So what had happened was, this particular guy, I met him like, oh my goodness, maybe like 6 years ago or so on a photo shoot for a glasses campaign that I shot. And he was one of the photographers. And after we'd met, we didn't really speak again, but we were still following each other. However, like there was no reason for me to be in contact with him. And then I noticed as of the past year, he's been watching all of my stories. But I didn't think anything of it because, you know, when you follow people, of course, you're going to engage with their content. You're going to watch their stories. It doesn't really mean anything. I don't read into it anymore when men watch my stories because you don't know if they're just tapping through. You don't know if they're just looking for the sake of looking. You just don't know. You don't know if they've left their phone open from watching someone else's story and it's just playing through and the phone is in another room. You just don't know. But this guy's been watching my stories for the past year. And I think what happened was, out of the blue, he asked me a question. And it was something along the lines of him saying to me that he likes to provide for women and he believes that women deserve for a man to honor them and be devoted. But what if he hasn't really got money right now? Like, what is my thoughts on that. And I said to him, this question was a waste of my time. And he was like really apologetic. And I think he suggested us doing a photo shoot to make up for it. Which, listen, I'm gonna have to give him that, you know. Sometimes you gotta find a way to shoot your shot. And that was a quick save on his part. He suggested we do a photo shoot. He's a great photographer. He works with so many established people. He's doing well for himself in terms of how his work looks. So I said yes to that. And you know what I did? I found a location. And I don't give a fuck if he's listening to this, because he's not identifiable anyway. Only he knows from listening to this that it's him. But I found a location saved in one of my bookmarks of a location that I've always been wanting to shoot at. And he booked it. I made him book it. I think he booked it for 2 hours. And at the time telling this story, that was maybe a week ago. He booked it for 2 hours for the shoot to be happening this Saturday. And at the time telling this story, it is a Thursday. And he also booked me a nice car to pick me up and take me to the shoot. I was like, okay. Proper nice. Like, you know how you got like Addison Lee or what's the other one? There's different car companies you can basically use to pre-book a car, and it's like normally more luxurious than Uber. He booked me one of these nice car companies to pick me up for the shoot and take me back home. So in total, this has probably cost him like just under, if not £400. And when he booked me the nice car, instead of saying thank you, I said, well done. Because that was my way of trying to test the waters and see, like, I'm getting vibes that this man might be submissive. Because when I first told him that his stupid question that he asked me was a waste of time, because that was quite rude of me to say, but I knew that I was being rude and I wanted to be rude because his question annoyed me. And it wasn't a bad question, it was just a waste of my time. Like, figure that out in your own time. Anyway, when he asked me that question and I said that was a waste of my time, he immediately tried to redeem himself. And that's how I was like, you might be submissive. That's how I was able to tell. That was my first sign that I may be dealing with a submissive man. And then when he booked me that nice car, I was like, well done. So I was using praise to create the dynamic that I want to see from now on moving forward. And then what had happened was the last test, because 2 tests, he's passed 2 tests so far, but I'm still not sure. Is he submissive or not? I'm still not sure. He passed the first test of saving himself when he asked me that stupid question. He passed the second test of booking me a nice car from his suggestion. I didn't ask him to book the car. He suggested booking the car after he booked the location without complaining. Now, the third test was at the point where I'm now in the conversation narrating now. It is the day before my live show that I had sold out in Leicester Square Theatre on 1st of June. So it's the day before my live show. And I say to him, because I was meant to have a sub come on stage, guys, but in true man fashion, you couldn't make this shit up. A sub cancelled on me. Which happens, like, they get shy, they get flustered, they get a bit nervous, and they cancel. And I always accommodate for the reality that this could happen. They could cancel. So I always have a second format of the show prepared in my mind in case I don't have a sub for that segment. So to test the waters with this guy who is going to be taking photos of me, I said to him, you never guess what just happened. Because why I said this to him was because after he's booked the car, he came back, I think a day later, and asked me if there's any way he can support me because my show is coming up. Like, can he buy some of my books? What can he do to support me? And I found that really endearing and kind and sweet. So at the point when he's asking me that, there's not really much he can do to support me, because even if he bought a bunch of my books for me to sell at the show, like, he can't bend time and get all those books to the venue. Like, it's fine. I just said to him, it's fine, don't worry. And then I came back to him after saying that. I said to him, but it's such crazy timing because A sub who I was meant to have on stage for the show has just dropped out. And now I'm flustered because now I've got to reformat this portion of the show, which is a half truth because, yeah, he did drop out. And now I've got to like reformat a portion of the show. But I also wanted to see what this guy would say because I'm testing to see if he might be submissive. And this guy is also, I'm not going to necessarily say he's like, oh my God, so attractive, but like he passes the vibe check visually, you know, like he's okay to look at. Like he's out. Okay, let me be nice. He's nice to look at. Ugh, I hate giving men compliments. But yeah, he's not a bad looking guy at all. Like I would say that if someone was to ask me, is he unattractive or is he attractive? I'll say he's attractive. So when I told him this sub has just dropped out, I wanted to see what he would say. Because this would be my way of finding out if he's submissive or not. Because at the moment, I'm getting vibes he's submissive. Then this guy says to me, I wouldn't normally do this. And I'm just saying it because I guess I just want to help you. But I don't mind being the sub on stage for you. And I was like, I got you. Look at you. You see, my spidey senses are tingling. I can just tell my sub radar is getting stronger and stronger as the days pass. Yeah, I just feel it in my tits. I just know. So when he said that, I was like, really? You want to help me? Oh my gosh. So I started voice noting him and letting him know like how it's going to go down. I told him to go to central London and buy a face hood, like a leather hood to cover his face. He was really, really concerned about privacy. He was really, really nervous about privacy. And once a man starts expressing anxiety about privacy, which is understandable, mind you, I start to get the belief that they're probably going to ghost or they're probably going to like bail because the nervousness is understandable. A lot of people who are submissive, you would never expect them to be submissive because in our culture as human beings, like it's not normalized yet for men to be submissive. We still see it as this thing to like shame the men for, which I don't think is fair. I don't think it's right. I think it's very bizarre to shame a man for liking women. Very weird. But he was expressing a lot of interest in being my sub on stage for the live show, but he was also following up with this like hesitation about like, are you sure it'd be private? I was like, yes, it's fine. Like you come for a secret entrance, like it'll be fine. But if you don't want to do it, it's okay. And then he kept on saying, yes, it's fine. I'll do it. Thank you for being reassuring. Like any reassurance he needed, I was happy to reassure him because I understand. And I really do respect men who are submissive and want their privacy to be prioritized. For me, privacy is absolutely paramount. I really, really care about men's privacy in this lifestyle because I understand the social repercussions for being caught adoring a woman. Ugh, boo. So you're wondering where this story went. Mind you, we're supposed to be doing a shoot together on Saturday. That's 2 days away from the time I'm telling you this story now. It gets to the day of my show and what does this guy do? Do you guys want to take a wild guess what happened? Do you guys want to take a wild guess what he did? What do you think happened? Yes, of course he bailed. The morning of the show comes, 7 a.m. He bailed, made up some excuse. I know he bailed because this is not the first time a guy has done this. I know that even though he gave me a story that sounded compelling, I knew that he had cold feet. And that was on the day before my show. My show was on a Sunday. That was last Sunday. The morning of the show, you're bailing on me. Okay. Interesting. So in response to his long paragraph explaining his excuse as to why he's not going to show up for the show that he went out of his way to buy a piece of leather hood for, he went out of his way to triple down on how he's so excited to do this and like he's really looking forward. And we even spoke about other things we're going to do together. Wink, nudge, wink. Other things like me using him to film some of my fetish content, which he was so up for. Once he sent me that stupid paragraph bailing on me, I just said, okay, AY in response to his whole paragraph. That was on Sunday last week. It's now Thursday. The shoot that he spent money on booking is on Saturday. I've not heard from this man, but he's been watching all my stories. You know what's going to happen? You know what I see happening? Based on my prediction, and I'll have to come back to you guys on what ends up happening. Based on my prediction, he's probably going to come tomorrow, which is the day before the shoot, and he's probably gonna maybe try and create some small talk to try and nullify what's just happened in the hopes I'll still come to this shoot. Either that or he's going to come up with his own excuse to cancel the shoot so that it'll be within the time where he can still get a refund for the booking that he made for the car and for the location. Because with booking locations, once it reaches a certain amount of hours before the shoot, I believe like 24 or 72 hours, you lose your money. But I say all that to say, it doesn't matter how attractive a man is. It doesn't matter how much you are attracted to that attractive man. It doesn't matter how much you are resonating, whether he's submissive and he's flattering your ego. He's still going to bail on you. He's still going to disappoint you. I always say a glittery piece of shit is still a piece of shit. An attractive man who treats you badly is still a man who treats you badly. Is still a man. An attractive man who is stingy is still a stingy man. Is still a man. Him being attractive doesn't mean that he deserves for special exceptions to be made for him. A man is not going to treat you better just because he looks better. In the same way, when men use their dogs to lure women, fundamentally and subconsciously and psychologically, what they're doing is they are using the cute features of their dog to try and get you to believe that they also share those cute features in common. Sounds crazy to say, but that's almost always the reason why when you see a man with a really cute dog, you almost feel like you can approach him, or like you feel like he's going to be easier to talk to because his dog is so cute. So that must mean that he also has those endearing qualities in some way. Girl. I am against the attractive man propaganda. I believe that attractive men should work even harder to prove themselves than the non-attractive man. Why? Because attractive men are already used to being given special treatments in society, and that largely impacts their ego. It inflates their ego. And when a man has an inflated ego, he doesn't treat women in the way they deserve to be treated. He thinks that he is the prize. And this is why I don't meddle with attractive men. Where I can avoid them, I avoid them. If a man is attractive to me, that's what's important. And usually, I grow in my attraction to a man. I could see a man at face value and not be attracted to him at face value. But then if he is spoiling me, if he's funny and he's witty and he's creative, and I really find his success admirable and hot, and he's rich, then I'm going to be attracted to him. So it's a shame that people think that I don't give men a fair chance. Actually, I give everyone a fair chance as long as you got money and as long as you are treating me the way that I want to be treated, actually. Because over here at Good Pussy Incorporated, our workforce champions and prioritizes diversity in our staff. Yeah. May the roster continue to be diverse, because diversity is what allows an ecosystem to thrive. Yeah. But I just think that, you should be more mean to attractive men, make them jump through more hoops. If you feel like you can't control your loins, then you're not ready for this lifestyle, babe. Because I think that, I probably will date attractive men more and more in future, but they're going to be attractive men that are still treating me the way I want to be treated. I'm not dating them solely because they're attractive. I might be more attracted to them because of how they look, but the baseline fundamental requirements still need to be met. Are you spoiling me? I have expensive taste. Can you keep up with my pace of expensiveness? Because whether you are spoiling me or not, I'm going to spoil myself anyway. And if you don't want to do it, there's another man who's going to do it. So I'm going to go over there, yeah? I'm not going to stand here and pitch myself to you. I'm not going to wait for you to come around and decide that I'm worthy of what I know I'm worthy of. We're not doing that. So what's it going to be? Make your choice. Because I just think that women who date attractive men so they can have cute babies, something about that's a little off to me. It's a weird, murky grey area there. Because why are you fixated on how attractive your children are? Would you love your child any less if they were not attractive? Like, what does that mean? Like, I do understand when people are like, I want to have cute babies. Oh my God, that's so cute. But what if your kid isn't cute? What now? Are you going to love your kid any less? Huh? Just a thoughts to ponder on. Because you could partner with a man who is not as attractive as you and your kid can still be cute because your kid looks like you. But also, I'm a bit weirded out by the idea of fixating on a child's appearance. Okay? I don't look at a cute man or a good looking man and think, oh, babies are going to be cute. I look at a cute man and I think, oh, it's going to look really nice riding him. Oh my God. Whoa, who said that? That's crazy. What the heck? That's so inappropriate. What the fuck, man? That's crazy. I can't believe someone would say that. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. I think for me, when I think about dating attractive men, I think, oh my God, he's going to look so sexy swiping his card. Oh my God. It's going to look so sexy putting him in chastity and making him eat me out and not allowing him to have a boner because his focus and priority is on making me feel good. And it's going to be so hot seeing him do that with that gorgeous face. Whoa, who said that? What the hell? Who said that? That's very inappropriate. Who is saying those things? Just saying. But no attractive man formed against me shall prosper. And it still hasn't prospered. You know why? Because I use attractive men as firing practice. In fact, the more attractive a man is, the more I'm going to be mean to him. And it's not mean as in just out of the bat being cold and wicked with no prior context. I mean, like, I'm less forgiving of attractive men. I'm quicker to walk away from attractive men. Yes, actually, if you see the men on my battlefield who have fallen, if you see what I have done to men that you would fold for. I've got some very fine men blocked. Let's just put it that way. And they were blocked mid-apology. And that's me doing my part for community. I think I should be thanked, actually, for doing my part to help regulate the system, actually. But jokes aside, why it's so important to be less forgiving of attractive men. Why it's so important to be more rigid in your boundaries and standards when dealing with attractive men is because you start to become desensitized towards attractive men. This is what helps me to not be, what's you guys' worst fear? Hey, he's going to control you. Rich man is going to control you. Oh my God. Do you know how many rich men I've blocked? Guys. It's rappers that I have blocked. Chai. It's millionaires that I have blocked. I have eyewitnesses from the crime scene of men who I have blocked just for asking me to come and chill and smoke with them instead of asking me on a proper date. Blocked. And these men, they've got money. They're nice to look at. But you see, money isn't enough for me to divert from my standards. Good looks is not enough for me to divert from my standards. No. The more you treat attractive men like they're disposable, the more you treat rich men like they're disposable, the more desensitized you become to men's influence and perceived control that you think they're going to have over you because you have experience with throwing these men away. So when another one comes that seems promising but decides to act up, you're not going to feel conflicted in whether you should throw him away or not because you've thrown fine men away before. You've thrown rich men away before. You are an experienced recycler. Yes, you are thrown away the rubbish. You're not attached. Marie Kondo, does this man bring joy? No, he fucking doesn't. Give him away. Does this man bring joy or money? No. Oh yeah. In the bin bag you go. In the bin. You see how easy that was? Yeah. Marie Kondo ain't just helping us clear out our closet. No. You can apply Marie Kondo's principles of minimalism and wardrobe space to the men you're entertaining. Does this fine ass man with a big dick and nice jawline bring joy? No. Off he goes. And the more you practice cutting off fine men with big dick and nice personality and great teeth, the less you feel like you have to preciously hold on to them tight, because in the end, they're still just a man. That's my secret. That's genuinely how I do it. And it has worked for me. So now it means when I meet fine men, I'm not shaking. The pussy may be throbbing a little bit, but that's not the point. Okay? Because me and my pussy, we have an agreement in place where just because we're throbbing doesn't mean we're going to act on the throbbing. Do you understand? Anyway, whoa, who said that? That's crazy. Moving on swiftly. Just because you're horny doesn't mean you need to act on your horniness. That's the gift and advantage and upper hand you have as a woman. It's okay to find men attractive. What's more important is how you navigate your attraction to them. If you meet a fine-ass man who is very attractive, what are you going to do about how attracted you are to him? Are you going to give him a chance to impress you? Because if you give him a chance to impress you and he doesn't impress you, you can't go off of the bias of his looks. You have to deal with the facts, the data. He didn't pass the vibe check. I'm not going to still funnel him through because I like his teeth and his eyebrows and his jawline and his dick print in his grey joggers. I'm not. I am stronger. I can do this. No man with a nice dick print in his grey joggers formed against me shall prosper in the name of Jesus. I am stronger than any fine ass man with jawline and a gold tooth and a do-rag. Oh my God. I'm stronger. I don't care. Listen, I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn. And that is what has kept me going. Yeah. I just know that I'm being prepared and primed for the echelon of men who I'm going to meet maybe in 10 years' time. And by the time I meet them, I'm going to be such a savage villain that the government's going to have to get involved and stop me once and for all. That's how astute and sharp my skills are going to be. I'm only sharpening this blade. With each man, I get sharper. With each man that pisses me off, it gets harder for everyone. This is a group effort. Once another man upsets me, or disappoints me, or changes the way that I see him, it in effect also affects the way I view men. Yes, because now I've got more experience in understanding that men cannot be trusted no matter how well things are going. And that's not the trauma of like, oh, I've been hurt, therefore I'm traumatized. I'm not traumatized. I'm just very aware. I just have really good pattern recognition, babe. That's what I'm thankful for with my neurodiversity. I don't know if I have autism. I don't know if I have ADHD. I don't know if I have one of the other new ones. I don't know what it's called. All I know is that the kind of brain I have is not a neurotypical brain. I have the kind of brain where me and pattern recognition, we go together real bad. Once I notice something that resembles a pattern I'm familiar with, I'm not about to wait for the pattern to fully unravel 15 times for me to be like, oh, that's another pattern. No. From the first preview of the pattern, I'm like, no. It's cool. I'm out. I'm a fall back. It's okay. It's never that serious. In the end, it's just a man. No matter how fine he is, it's just a man. No matter how rich he is, it's just a man. No matter how funny he is, it's just a man. No matter how connected he is, it's just a man. It's just a man. There will never be a shortage of men, unfortunately. No matter how old you become, despite what they want you to believe, you're always going to have a man to talk to. Unfortunately, there's always going to be a man who wants to see your tits. So don't be in a hurry to accept the first thing that comes in front of you that's remotely somewhat kind of attractive because you're scared you're never going to meet another attractive man. If you can attract one, you can attract 10. It might not be 10 in the same week, month, or year, but across a span of a sizable amount of time, you can get 10 more of that, whether it's another millionaire, another rich man, another fine man, another footballer, another whatever it is that is your type. There's more out there. Widen your horizon. Free yourself of the self-limiting belief that this fine man is the only fine man that you ever attract. Because when you don't find yourself attractive, and when you feel sorry for yourself, and when you think that any man who picks you, oh, I'm so lucky to have been picked, that's usually where you end up holding on to men so tightly. And that's when you see fine men targeting women who are unkept, I would say. When you see a fine man who's dating a woman that he is significantly finer than, it's because she's paying his bills and she's making so many exceptions and excuses for him. So be vigilant. Be vigilant, girl. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here. And I have to remind you, no attractive man formed against you shall prosper. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Take care. And enjoy the rest of your day, whatever time you're listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one.